Audrey's really impressed with the sauna. She's been in Anchorage for a few days.
Yeah.
And she just got back.
Yeah.
And I'm cleaning up around the property, and I'm not feeling very impressed with anything right now.
Wow.
I'm on cleanup detail, and she's appreciating how things are looking. I'm appreciating what a mess it is and how I need to clean it up, but I'm working on it. So let's talk to her instead of me.
And I was looking over here to the right, and I just am so impressed, like, with
The sewer pipes
the
in the
contrast,
back.
the contrast between like the board and batten, and then the stone wall, and how it seamlessly come together in just like this really beautiful way. And it's also just cool being here from the very beginning with this vernacular architecture inspired project. Just to remember, like, this was just mud, and pouring that footer back in September was kind of a big deal. Trying to race the temperatures for the Alaska winter that really just hadn't shown up. But anyway, I was admiring the beauty. I really loved the contrast between the stone and the board and batten with our rough cut spruce that came straight from a down log, salvaged from the forest floor, gonna weather beautifully and just get finer with age. Another thing that I was noticing today that I loved were the timber frame details. I love this knee joist right here that comes out, and these knobs.
Did you hear that, guys? The knee joist.
Is that what it's called? Elbow joist.
It doesn't matter. As long as she likes it, it doesn't matter what she calls it.
Oh, God. Anyway, I really like it. I wish I knew what it was called. And then something else that I think is so remarkable is the patterning that Scott did whenever he put the boards up. He really mirrored them, so they're basically a perfect cut from how the log was cut. So there's a fancy word for that too.
Slip matching or
Thank
slip
you.
joining.
But this
Or
is
book
really where it's
matching.
at. You can see that this is the front area that's covered, nice exposed beams. And last night I came down here to kind of reintegrate back into being at the cabin after being in Anchorage for 4 days.
And you sat in the dirty gravel and got your pants dirty.
Sure thing. I did. No chairs down here yet. Like a real Alaskan. But you can just sit here, and last night the rain was coming down, and apparently the drops are bigger because they're coming off the trees too, so it's very loud and rhythmic and beautiful. And of course with the water lapping on the beach right now, it's just really soothing. So super grateful to be back and to be here. It's always a little bit of a reintegration, but being outside and focusing on the beautiful details of our projects and the hard work we've been putting into, it's just pretty amazing. I did get down on my hands and knees last night with my flashlight to check on this sawdust-crete flooring that Scott laid this week with our friend Len. They used sawdust from the mill and sand from the beaches and water from this little, it's not even a spring, it's just like Alaskan little rock. And then concrete or cement mix in town. So I think the cement mix in the windows, and obviously the electric and the piping, like those things obviously were not from the land, but everything else has been.
You could tell she didn't help with the insulation, but...
Oh, okay. Okay. I forgot about that. But it turns out we could have used this crete flooring as insulation, but it uses a lot. It's resource heavy, and we had the insulation in that store shack up there that needed to get used. It had been there for a long time, and it's taking up a lot of space. So we're happy to use that.
Yeah. She's absolutely right. Trying to use as much of the local materials as possible, but also trying to use up local materials as much as possible. Didn't work perfectly, but we got some insulation used up in there, and so that was great. And I had to buy a little bit more. And sawdust-crete, that's how it's actually mostly used, is as insulation. I haven't seen anybody using it as flooring, but here's some of the shavings. This is from the sawmill, and if you mix it with very little or no sand, and rocks, you can put it in the walls as insulation, but we did a floor instead, and curious to see how it works.
Also, super exciting. I just was reminded that Scott wired to put some nice lighting in. What is it called again?
Eve lighting,
Yeah.
so they'll light up the building more than anything else.
Yeah. So it'll look really nice from afar. Such a beautiful building. I mean, we're just grateful for all of the buildings and structures and dried, of course, storage space on this property. Living remotely, it's all very valuable, but it's really special when you can design, create, and salvage your own materials to build a beautiful building from the land. It's like an expression of self, an expression, Scott's artistic expression and vision, and it's just so much more than building. And I really appreciate that. It's just who we are. Be cool taking things from the land and making beauty out of it and eventually function. Apparently the crete flooring needs to cure for up to 4 weeks, which means that the sauna usage is a little farther down the road, but that's okay because the flooring's it's a custom floor. It's sloped all in such a way to where it's going to drain perfectly in there. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be magic. Can't wait to go in and check it out. But I am excited. The wall needs built in there, and then the benches, and then we might buy a stove, but we might build a stove too. And by we, I mean Scott would definitely be building the stove. I'd probably be videoing it. But sooner than later, probably by summer, we'll be ready to use the sauna. And I'm so grateful that we did it this way. It takes way longer when you use resources from the land, and the process is a lot slower. And especially being remote and just having boat access and winter and weather and being Alaska, things definitely do take a little bit longer. And then when you add your artistic flair and your creative inspirations, I've been on the other end of it where, built a house as fast as possible in 6 months, start and finish, and didn't actually really totally finish it, but just it's beautiful. But you don't have time to put in the creative elements and aspects that you can get when you are not on a timeline. So grateful for that.